What's up, welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere, Brandon Janeau Show. Um, Social media platforms, Brandon Janeau Show, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show. Man, today you already know it's bleed black and gold. Um, so the Saints. They win today in the Superdome 24-17 against the Chicago Bears in a defensive, well, a dominant defensive game for the New Orleans Saints in this game. Um, the offense did what it was supposed to do, scored the points that we needed them to score, but this was more of a defensive game. Early in the game, for the defense, they let the rookie uh, Tyson Bether or Bateman. I don't know his last name. Um, get like a couple of touchdowns early. The first drive was always the shaky one for the Saints defense. Chicago came out, scored right out the gate. Saints, prevailed, came back, won the game. Uh, Another great game for Taysom Hill. Very quiet game for Alvin Kamara, which is very rare to say. Well, he caught a lot of passes, but not a lot of running from him. But it was the Taysom Hill game today, and I've seen in the last couple of weeks that's pretty much what this team has been predicated on is becoming the Taysom Hill show offensively, which it's not a bad game plan at all. I mean, that's kind of what I've been screaming for the last couple of weeks is get the ball to Taysom Hill, let Taysom Hill play, let Taysom Hill do certain things. Um, Michael Thomas didn't have a catch this game. I think Chris Olave caught a couple of passes. They try to really work Juwan Johnson into the receiving game a lot in this game. Chris Olave did what Chris Olave did, caught the first touchdown of the game for us. But for the most part, man, this was exactly what I expected from the Saints. Very highs and lows still with the special team, especially with the kicker, Blake Groupie. Um, he missed another. This is the craziest thing. He hit a 55 yarder early in the game, but then he misses like a chip shot field goal, which is like a 42, which should be easy to make for a kicker who just hit a 55-yard field goal, and he just fucking missed it at home when you're trying to ice the game. Now, here's the thing: the Saints had a game earlier. The Saints had a game earlier. Um, the Saints had the ball earlier, I should say, in the game where they were where it was like I think Saints had the ball earlier in the game, like two drops previous to that Blake Goopy uh missed field goal. They had it on like a 4th and 1. They decided to go for it. Okay, it is what it is. I get it. But the fact that you had an easy field goal for him to make, which is like no pressure. You're not really asking him to do too much. You're giving him an easy field goal. He probably hits it. We go up 10, and the defense who's playing unstoppable football at this time, unstoppable, football at the time, with a rookie who's now really feeling the pressure. Now he feels like he has to score. He has to get the team into a good rhythm because he's just not doing it. And I feel like that is, and so 2 drives later, you put this kid in there for the 2-minute warning, and you tell him to go out there and make a field goal, and he misses. I think the Saints got to understand. Sometimes this kid doesn't need pressure. He's not good in the pressure situations. He is actually really fucking bad at it. He's not good at it. So for the Saints' sake, is to stop doing that shit to him because you keep putting him in like 2-minute positions. I've seen him in the Houston game. I've seen him now, the Jags game. I've seen him enough to know the kid is not good in high pressure situations. So give him a simple fucking job. If you would have just kicked the field goal at that moment, no pressure, he gets on the field, he kicks the field goal. We probably go up 10, and it makes the Chicago Bears have to drive the field farther down, which they were not doing in the second half. Which brings me to our defense. That's the defense I've been waiting to see. This was the best game for the Saints that we could have asked for. A combine of offense and defense, the way we played. I know it was a rookie, but I don't give a shit. That was the best, especially in the second half. We're really a great second half defense, so I'm not really that surprised that we actually did what we did in the second half. Um, we're really a great second half defense. The first half is where we get the most problems. But I think teams are starting to realize, like, oh, we got to get them early. We got to get the defense early because if we give them a chance to score first, then we're not gonna get a. Now you give them energy, you give them a motivational tool, and you give them a reason for why they need to beat you. So I like the fact that our defense caused five turnovers, today. That is even shocking for Saints. Like that is a damn. I haven't seen us do that in years, where we were just on it every fucking play, man. In the second half, the kid literally had like four turnovers by himself. The rookie had like four turnovers by himself. We got a DJ Moore punch out, which was perfect. Like we did a lot of things in that game where defensively, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like now, I respect Dennis Allen for finally saying mobile quarterbacks gives us trouble. As a Saints fan, duh, the kid can run. This is why I was also a little afraid for when we played Justin Fields. If we was to play Justin Fields in this game, he didn't play, of course, because they run the ball. Like he can run. That's what he does. He takes off. He kills the. What the Saints like to do is kind of like suffocate you with the defense, and that's not what this is, especially if you can escape the pocket, escape the pressure, which a lot of those athletic quarterbacks usually do. They escape the pressure, they escape the pocket. You can't collapse them, which brings us and puts us in a position where if the quarterback does decide to run, now you have somebody that has to come out the secondary to kind of stop that play, and that's not what we're good at. We're not good at that. All in all, winning this game is very important. We're now on a two. This is the funniest. This is the Saints. This is literally the Saints. I literally it goes back to what I said about the Jags game when I said that night on the Jags game. We have 3 weeks to prove who we are. We are now finally in a position, and now we have a chance to actually also go into the bye week 6-4, or at least 5-5. The craziest thing about this is right now we now lead the division. We now lead the NFC South. Carolina is losing right now. The Panthers are losing to the Colts right now. They're down 20-3 with 5:20 to go in the third quarter. But the Texans drove on the last second drive. C.J. Stroud, the young goat, C.J. Stroud, uh, drove the ball down the field, scored on a last second touchdown, beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with no field goal kicker, which is damn near impossible. But they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which now they're on a 4-game losing streak now after beating us, which is the craziest thing in the world. And also, Atlanta lost today to a fucking quarterback that literally got there earlier this week. Josh Dobbs literally got to Minnesota Tuesday, like Tuesday, Wednesday. He got traded like Tuesday, and he's been in Minnesota like for like a couple of days. He doesn't even know the playbook fully yet. And the fact that he drove down the field and came off the bench, by the way, and won a game in Atlanta tells you all you need to know about Atlanta. As good as Atlanta was supposed to be, this is what the situation was supposed to be for the Saints. We have the opportunity to win the division. We have a bye. We have a now. Now we go to Minnesota and play the Vikings next week, which means Josh Dobbs will have more of the understanding of the playbook. He will know what he needs to do, and he will be very aware of what the Saints is. Here's the thing about this though: as good as the Vikings looked in this game, if we do, and another thing about the Saints, which I cannot miss. Not only did we get 5 turnovers, we had a game where we only had two penalties. I think that shit is rare. We lead the league in penalties. The fact that we only had like two penalties this entire fucking game is crazy. Like what? Like as a Saints fan, you smile at that shit. Like what the? We're causing turnovers. We're not giving away the ball. We're actually causing turnovers, and we're actually winning this game. And we did not cause any penalty that put us in a position where this team can actually still keep the ball and roll down the field, even when we know we just stopped them. We did none of that this game, which is rare. With two penalties the entire game. The first penalty literally came on like the second to last drive of the fucking game. That is rare for the Saints. That's a pat on a goddamn back. We cleaned up our mistakes, which is rare to say. Derek Carr has not had a turnover in two games, which is great because we need that. No, he threw a pick last week. I'm tripping. No, he fumbled the ball last week. I'm tripping. Um, but interception. He hasn't had an interception since I think the Jazz game. We're now 5-4. We go to Minnesota. We If we beat Minnesota next week, we'll be 6-4 going into the bye week. Which the following week we play Atlanta. Atlanta is really like the last test of the NFC South. I know we still got Tampa. I know we still got Carolina. I know we still got to go to Tampa, and we still got Carolina to come to us, and Atlanta has to come to us. But for me personally, man, Tampa Bay is going to be a fighting team. Tampa Bay is a fighting team. But I think the losing is starting to catch them, and I think it's starting to really make them realize, like, oh, wow, we're not actually as great as we thought we were, and we're starting to revert to the team we usually would be. This is why I said the Saints have a very, 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 that's why I kept saying the Saints have a very, 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 very important three games. They've won two of these games. The defense has woken up, and the offense look good. The one thing I want to see is can we put it all together? Special teams too. The punt is doing better, but Blake Groupie is starting to really. He still hasn't found his rhythm yet as a kicker in the NFL, and for me, that's not good. If you haven't still figured it out as a rookie by week 10, 11, that okay, high pressure situation. And I know he comes. I think he comes from what Notre Dame. I think that's what they keep saying. Notre Dame is a high pressure situation. That's a college. That's a high pressure college. You should be better than this. Like this is ridiculous, dude. Like you gotta be better than this. For me personally, man, to be 5-4 on the year, like after the start we had to start this season, to be 5-4 going into week 10, excuse me, of the NFL season with a bye week literally coming up next after this upcoming weekend with the Vikings. If we end up 6-4, holy shit! Like, yo, if we end up 6-4, and Atlanta starting to free fall, and Minnesota starting to free fall, because they're losing the teams that, and otherwise, you should be winning against. Minnesota losing to Joshua Dobbs is a crazy name for you. Atlanta's Tampa Bay's defense to literally give C.J. Stroud literally the Tom Brady Peyton Manning treatment, like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the world. Which I said something on my show with my brother Juan Wednesday, and I said C.J. Stroud is better than Josh Allen right now. I, I said that just to throw it off the cuff, like it was just like a throwing off the cuff. But I wasn't lying. Like I'm not lying. It was just yeah, it was a cuff throwing off the cuff movement. But I told, like I said, which quarterback would I rather have right now? C.J. Stroud or Josh Allen? Give me C.J. Stroud right now. Are you serious? Like I'm watching this kid play and I'm watching how he does things and I'm like, yeah, this kid's got it. I see it. I saw it when we played him in a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, this kid got it. All in all, man, the Saints are 5-4. We beat Chicago again. That's a massive thing. We are going to be on the road even after we go to the Vikings, Atlanta, and I know we got a bye. Then I think November 26th, I think we play Atlanta, and then the next home game is against Detroit. and that's December 2nd or 3rd, I think, in New Orleans. And Detroit at that time will probably be one of, if not the best teams in football still. So I expect, us to be in that. That's gonna be a dogfight for us. Every game this year is gonna be a dogfight for us. But like I said, man, I want to see if we're ready, if we're ready now. Like 5-4 is great. To be over 500 is a great thing. Finally, but for me, man, it's about still trying to get this offense 100% right. There was still some choppiness in the offense game playing in this game, but I think this was one of those games where they felt like, listen, we ain't really got to do a lot offensively. We just got to keep the ball. We got to hope the defense continues to play the way they're playing. And the defense did, man. Marcus May did his thing. Paulson Adebo became a fucking dominant one today. And like I've been saying, with Marshawn Lattimore, Alante Taylor, and now Paulson Adebo, that's three cornerbacks. The secondary is the cornerback situation is good. The safety situation is still shaky. Marcus May still has some plays out there today. Teron Matthew got mossed for the first touchdown of the game. Got absolutely mossed for the first touchdown of the game. But we still got some things we got to work out. But that defense is starting to wake it up. Demario Davis made a huge play to end the game for us. Brian Brzee is starting to really become that new defensive tackle that we've all been waiting to see. I think we got it, man. I think we got a team. I think we're ready. And I think, like I said, man, I just got to see one more game where everything comes together. The defense works. The offense is great. We scored over 20 some points again, but the defense also puts in that type of effort where we just shut everything down. Yeah, I want to see a first half where we just dominate. Second half is cool, but the first half is where it really kicks in. First drive, I want to see us get a touchdown on the first drive, which we haven't really done yet. And I think since shit, I can't even say. Damn, I can't even remember when we got a touchdown on the first damn drive of a game. But yeah, I gotta see us get a touchdown on the first drive of a game offensively, and I still gotta see the defense shut somebody down in the first drive of the game for us. Outside of that, man, maybe the rookie kicker. It's starting to get to the point where you kind of now start to say, if you're Dennis Allen, should I go think about bringing in a new kicker? Now you can't go trade for one, clearly, but you can go call one and see if someone could come in and maybe kick. Because if Blake Groupie is missing field goals at home, that's 42 yarders. When it's not supposed to really be that much pressure on you, you're up already. You're up seven. It's not like it should be that much pressure on you. But the fact you're feeling that already, it's like, okay, it's starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, we might need to think about letting this kid sit for a while. Even if you still got faith in him. Like I said, the punter is doing better. But even if you still got faith in this rookie kicker, he's got to now know, hey man, we're getting later and later, we're getting later and later into these games where we're up now and you're missing kicks. Like the pressure's not on you. You're at home. Nobody's screaming at you. You're at home. Just hit the fucking field goal. Like you're good. And the fact that he's still not hitting these field goals with really no pressure on him, that's not good. That's not good. So yeah, man. All in all, man, the Saints are now 5-0. We're over 500, and we're now the number one seed, number one spot in the AFC South, NFC South, which is a beautiful feeling. 5-4, number one in the NFC South. Next week we got the Minnesota Vikings. After that, bye week. Um, yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do my Sunday when the Saints going by, but other than that, man. Um, until next time, until next week. I am Brandon Janeau. This is Bleed Black and Gold. Peace.